Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. Welcome. So the July 6th, was this July 6th? Developer update is going to be at like 2 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard. So we're going to start a little bit early, have some fun playing some games, talk about what's coming. Why not? Supposedly this is going to be a mixed developer update with some Diablo Immortal in there. I don't even know why the hell they're coming back to Diablo Immortal other than to punch themselves in the freaking groin area. Like, I feel like at this point, yeah, Diablo Immortal makes them some money, but they should just hide it in a dark corner in a room somewhere and just move on with their life. Just like, let's hop into voice chat. I know Leon and Luli are in here. Let's.
Anyhow,
Alright, what's up, guys?
15 level higher than me?
Who's higher than you?
Yeah.
Just go to the end real quick. I gotta take a short break anyway.
So Luli is raging about his inventory space.
I am.
He said he wants to quit the game forever because he doesn't have enough space for his toys.
I actually didn't when I was AFK a lot. This was the time. I'm frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play, and then I don't. Then I'm like, Doc yesterday, he was like, I don't know what to do.
Dude, they make it so difficult. They really do.
He's gonna cry. He's like, I don't know what to do.
I don't have enough inventory space. Stop being a hoarder. It's not even that is not the issue.
Hoarder. This is not hoarding, my friend.
That is not the issue at all. People crack me up with that. Like if I had a mansion that had like 72 rooms and like 3-car garages, and I was saying I didn't have enough space, then yeah, I would be right with you, and I'd be like, yeah, stop hoarding, you idiot. No. We are basically in like a 1-room bedroom house that has like a kitchen / bathroom / garage, where literally our toilet and our microwave and our car are all in the same room because we literally just don't have enough space for anything. Like, our family room is the equivalent of a family room / dining room / patio. Like, / it's literally like everything that we have is like a //////. Literally, like, we're pooping in the same room where we're cooking. Like, it's awful. Like, we've got no space whatsoever. And you calling us a hoarder is like the epitome of like, wow.
It's like, let them eat
cake. How dare you have 1 cup in your cabinet?
Yeah, it's like, there is no bread. Why don't you eat cake?
Greetings.
Like, we've got a refrigerator that's so small you can fit like 1 can of soda in it.
Greetings. Hello.
This dog is ignoring me and it's hurting my soul. Come here, doggo. Trying to talk to you. Why are you? What did I do to deserve your ire, sir?
Greetings.
Thank you. Come here. Get some pets.
Hello.
That's right. Be some good doggos, and you're gonna get lots of pets. Good doggos get all the pets.
Hello.
All the pets like this. Itty pitty 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 pitty. There was actually a Seinfeld episode about that. There was a Seinfeld episode about the small rooms. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen that episode, but it's an episode where George is talking about this girl that he got with, and this girl that he got with has a really small apartment, and she wants to have sex with him. And so basically they're in the apartment, and he's like, and we're doing it. He goes, and all of a sudden I've got to go to the bathroom. Right? He goes, and I can feel it in my gut. He's like, it's a really bad one, and I need to, go in there and do my business. It's going to take me a little while, and I might have to use some air freshener and open up a window and whatnot. And he's like, and she doesn't have a bathroom with a closed door. The toilet, he's like, the toilet is literally sitting there on the floor, like not even that far away from the bed. And he's like, and I have a choice. He's like, do I do I do my horrible business right there in front of this lady who wants to have, relations with me, or do I basically just like fake that I gotta go somewhere like right this moment and go do my business in private? And he's like, and I couldn't do it. He's like, I couldn't go in front of her. He's like, I couldn't sit on that toilet in front of her and do my business. He's like, so I told her I had an important business meeting that I had to go to right then, and I literally just stopped what I was doing, got up and left, and she got mad at me because I left in the middle of business. But he's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't just poop right in front of somebody like that. I feel like that's the situation we're in at this moment. That literally our storage space is so small. It's like we literally have a toilet in our kitchen.
I can't do that here. Hello.
Where's the cat at? Hey, what's up, Elementalist? I'm trying to find the cat. Where's the cat? I don't know where the cat is. There's a cat. You can play with the cat too. Well, that is a skinny dog. You need to eat some food there, sir. Yes, I am. I mean, some of them New York apartments are like that, though. They're literally so small that, like, I don't even know how to explain it other than they're just too small. They're just way too small.
Fine pieces, rare and beautiful.
I'm not ready yet.
Throw them right on the ground. Yeah, it starts at 2 p.m. EST, so we're just gathering and we're talking about the stuff that they've got coming up. If you guys haven't seen this one, this is something that they shared on Twitter yesterday. This is supposedly be something that they've got coming that we don't know exactly what it is, but they teased us with it, is basically what they did. Let me pull it up for you guys. I'll pull up the teaser for you. So the teaser is something about corruption zones. Here it is right here. This is the teaser, and as you can see, they clearly have some sort of like black ink that's spreading across the map, along with the words "corruption is spreading" and some spooky music.
Are you streaming now?
Yeah. I literally said I'm going to set up the stream, Luli, and then disappeared, and then came back like 2 minutes later and said hello, guys and gals.
Usually I see watch stream on the Discord, and I cannot see it. So let me go to YouTube.
That's right. It looks like pen ink. It does kind of look like pen ink. But apparently they're going to be telling us about this one coming up here. It says corruption is taking hold. I'm not really quite sure what corruption would be. I mean, it kind of sounds similar to terror zones in Diablo 2. Like, I mean, they've got it going across the map as well, which makes me kind of think like, like zones. It kind of makes me think like terror zones. I see corruption Yo Mama is winning. Y'all love them Yo Mama jokes. Yo Mama's so fat. She sat on George Washington and made him spit boogers. I don't know. It sounds interesting. I don't know if it's going to be corruption zones. Some other people were talking about some various things about what the hell it is, but we're going to find out today. So no reason to like super speculate on it. We should also be getting word today on the ladder season. So that I think this is going to be our ladder season announcement. So if you're curious about when the hell ladder season 1 is going to start, this is probably going to be when we find out about that as well. What's up, Vince?
But there is another zone where we can find more stuff that we cannot keep.
Yeah, it's another place we can find more stuff where we can't keep it. You're absolutely right. How'd you know?
Yes.
They better address the inventory tension in this live stream. Like the inventory tension is getting extremely tense. Okay, it's starting to level up past tension, and it's starting to get into the
Angry.
into the inventory anger stage.
Because the longer you play, the more angry you get. You're like, okay, you know, what? Because when I was having just one character, I had no problem. I'm like, why are those people complaining about the? I have no problem. And then I got my necro, and then there is necro this, necro that, necro. I'm like, okay, I need to keep few aspects to see which necro I want to build. And then I'm like, oh, I cannot do this. I just have to take my decision from the beginning, keep the aspects I need, and the rest just
If you're frugal and you're not saving for other characters, and you go out of your way to destroy everything that you can destroy, you can have enough space for one character.
Yes.
One character is basically all you have enough space for. So if you
That's why I didn't have a problem with my rogue.
But as soon as you make your second character, as soon as you have your second character, that's when things go haywire. And then your third and your fourth and your fifth character just complicate the issues entirely, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Basically to the point where the inventory tension, like, it's literally almost to the point where I would rather just buy another account for my second character.
Maybe this is their plan all along. An account for each class.
It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. All right. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is currently 12:43 Eastern Standard. So we are roughly about an hour and 15 minutes out. So about 1 hour, 15 minutes away. The reason why we're gathering early is because we talk about this kind of stuff. Like speculate. Plus I want to play some Diablo. So don't blame me for wanting to play the game. I got my little mini fridge down here that my girlfriend bought me. Got me some liquid death.
Oh, why?
They're gonna sell stash tabs.
It's not gonna work like selling stash tabs. How many stash tabs we're gonna need?
The thing is that no, I did not get my Ramalama Ding Dong yet, JDN. Everybody else has got like 7, okay, and I still don't have 1. I've always felt this way about like stash base and character slots and all that stuff. Like selling extra stash base and selling extra character slots is fine, as long as you provide the players with a sufficient amount of stash base and character slots prior to the selling of those things. However, right now we do not have sufficient stash base. So if they come out with these, I will land blast them. I will make a video like literally like a angry like preacher from the 90s on television. Like, and if you don't listen, you're
would
going
not be the only
down. Like I will literally shout it from the rooftops if they start selling stash tabs at this particular point. Like, because we do not have sufficient stash space. There is not sufficient stash space at this particular point, and selling stash tabs at this point is like selling hamburgers to homeless people at this point. Like, we're basically homeless paupers who don't have enough space to even like literally exist, and they would be coming along going like, here, would you like a stash tab for $1,000? And we're like, but I don't have $1,000.
I think, like, you know, a codex for extracted aspects, and then selling us more space for the codex. Okay, I would be okay with this, I think.
I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to reiterate this. Two things would fix the issue right off the bat. Two things. First off is storage space for aspects, like we're talking about, like a codex for aspects. So that when I find a perfect aspect, like for instance, you know, I've got a bunch of perfect aspects in here. I need to deconstruct some of these ones that are not perfect, but let's take this one for instance. So critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 25%. It rolls between 15 to 25, so having a perfect one of these around is nice, right? So having a place where we could put these would be great. So if we had a codex where I could just extract the legendary aspect and put it in the codex, so that like when I go up to the occultist, it just pulls from the codex, would be great. So basically, I would take this to the occultist, I would extract that to the codex, and then that item would no longer be in my stash. So that would be for the first step right there, is literally just making it so that I can extract all these legendary aspects that I'm holding on to and put them into like some sort of codex, which would be amazing. The second thing that would greatly reduce stash space requirements is removing this absolutely garbage character level requirement. So I'm sure all of you have found this out through time, is that as you're leveling your character, everything that you have, including your aspects and your items and all of it, are arbitrarily given a level requirement based on your character's level and not actually the item power of the item. And you can literally see this in just about everything that I have, because I've got like a 770, let's just pull out some items. Right now I have a 770 power dagger here, right, with level 78 requirement. And then I have an 810 with a level 96, right? And then over here is a 783 with a level 95 requirement. Now, why does this 783 have a level 95 requirement? Why? I literally demonstrate right here that a 770 is only level 78. So why is the 770 item power and the 783 item power so vastly different in character in requirements? And it's because they've applied some sort of really stupid system where your character level determines the level requirement of the item and not the other things. And why would this reduce stash space? Well, it's really easy. If you're trying to store items, like for instance unique items, and you find a unique item that's perfect, but it's level 98, for instance, like this Death Speaker's Pendant, which is level 98, and it's absolutely stupid, well, then that's going to encourage you to hang on to lower level versions of those same uniques, so that maybe in the future, if you're leveling up a new character who might actually want to get access to one of those uniques, so that you have a couple different versions. Like, for instance, I have a Fists of Fate here that's level 55, and I have another Fist of Fate, which is level 78. And then I have a perfect Fist of Fate, which is level 82. So I have 3 Fists of Fate, and I have to hold on to all 3 of these, because if I want to level up a character with Fists of Fate, if I want to build a character around that item, then I'm definitely going to want to keep the Sacred version, because it's a lower level version. I'm definitely going to want to keep the level 78 version, because it's better than the Sacred version when I level up. And then finally, the Perfect version, which I found, which is level 82, is going to come in later. So now I've got to hold on to 3 different versions of a single item, simply because they've got the really stupid C level equals character level equals item just garbage. I don't understand why they did this, or why they ever thought this was a good idea, to have the item level requirement be tied so strictly to the character's level requirement. So it doesn't matter what the item is or what the item power is. It doesn't matter. The item power has absolutely no bearing on what the level requirement is of the item. Your character level is the actual bearing on what the level requirement is for the item. So if you find an item at level 100, then the item becomes a level 100 requirement item for no reason other than the fact that you found it on a level 100 character, which is stupid. I have gems because I level up multiple characters, King Trout. So I currently have, I don't know how many characters I have, and I have more that I want to make too. But I'm currently running a level 100 Necromancer. I have a level 63 Druid. I've got a 78 Barbarian, a 54 Frostbite Rogue. I've got a 70 Sorceress. I've got another Rogue that I want to level up later. I also have another character that I want to level up. I've got a couple more Theory Crafts. I've got a 52 Necromancer that I'm running. And those gems come in handy for those characters as they're being power leveled up. So I'm constantly utilizing those gems on multiple characters. So every single time I level up a character to 40, I throw in the 40 gems. And every single time I level them up to 50, I throw in the 50 gems. And then finally when I hit 60, I throw in the royals. But I need those gem tiers. I only keep the gem tiers that I'm actually utilizing. And you need at least those 3 gem tiers. Because when you power level up your character, he's going to be 45. Then once you get your character to 45, you use the 40 gems. Then you level up your character to 50 and you switch over to the 50 gems. And then you use the 50 gems until you hit 60. And then you finally switch to the 60 gems. But you need basically those 3 tiers at bare minimum if you're going to level up new characters on a regular basis. You need your regulars, your flawlesses, and then your royals. Actually, I've been having trouble finding the regulars and the flawlesses for some reason. The regulars specifically, which is the only reason I've been hanging on to them, because for some reason or not, once I hit a certain level, they just stopped dropping. The flawlesses I only keep so that I can throw in the level 50 equipment, but... A slider button? I'm not really quite sure what you mean. If they gave us all 4 additional shared stash tabs right now, if they just came out with an update and they said, here, have 4 more shared stash tabs, it wouldn't fix the issue. Like, it would put a small dent in it, but it still wouldn't fix the issue. Even 4 more shared stash tabs wouldn't be enough right now. The only thing that they're going to be able to do to fix this issue right now, like short term, is they need to give every single character their own personal stash tab. So a non-shared personal stash tab that goes probably on the left here, that each character can store their class-specific items into. So when I find, like, for instance, an Overkill, a Hellhammer, a Fields of Crimson, a Rage of Heragroth, a 100,000 Steps, a Butcher's Cleaver, like these items that are specific to specific characters. When I find these specific items, I can throw these in the specific personal storage tab for that specific character. That would put a dent in things because it would be a very large increase in stash space, which would be proportional to the number of characters that you're currently using. Let's go do a dungeon. Man, Chunks was getting me killed over and over again yesterday with all them crazy choices for his dungeon janks. How was my nap? I mean, if Sacred's dropping after level 60 is also, yeah, it's also an issue. There's no reason why Sacreds should have a level requirement higher than 45 or level 60. That's also a big issue as well. Like, I can't farm gear for my other characters. They need to do one of two things. They need to either stop sacred items dropping past a certain level, or change the sea level thing so that the sacred items can actually be useful for other characters. Like, I would be interested in taking a look at the sacred items for my other characters if they didn't have a level requirement of 100 as I'm farming on my level 100 character. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to have sacred items have a level requirement equal to your character level, but it basically makes them 100% useless.
I must wait. I need more time.
I've also come to some very interesting revelations about certain abilities. So this might help some of you guys in the future as you're going towards specific effects. But let's take a look at some modifiers here real quick, so I can kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So multipliers are nice, but multipliers are not always as good as they seem, because sometimes multipliers only multiply specific things instead of everything. So let's take this one right here. So Pit Fighter, which is an interesting one. So Pit Fighter is a 9% increased damage to close, and it has an X next to it, right? So it says 9X, right? So you would assume that this is a multiplier, and you would be correct. It is a multiplier. But let me give you a word of warning about this particular multiplier. It is a nested multiplier. It is not an actual multiplier. Okay, so global multipliers affect just about everything. Nested multipliers only affect other additive effects within the same multiplier range. So the formula, I actually have the formula here. Let me type it in. So the formula for nested multipliers, like for instance with this one, which is close, looks something more like this. I got the calculations in here. Hold on. And I know that this math doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you, but let me explain what this basically means. So what it means is that you're not getting like a global multiplier based on this. It's only multiplying other close damage. So if you have other close modifiers on your equipment, like for instance, if you're running, let's see here. I think I can actually show it to you right here. So if you go into your tree and you actually go down to damage versus close, which is right here, so 39.2%. If you pull this out, so if I take the Pit Fighter out, and I'd actually remove the points from Pit Fighter. So 39.2 is what I was at before, right? Now it's at 27.7. So basically what it's doing is it's multiplying your damage versus close. It's not actually multiplying your damage. It's not actually giving you more multiplier. It's not a global effect. It's actually only multiplying other additive effects which are giving you close damage. And when you look at it from that lens, you start to realize that these nested multipliers, like these in particular, the Pit Fighter one, are actually far less effective than they actually seem. Vulnerable is a global multiplier, and yes, it works a hell of a lot better than most other multipliers because it is a true global multiplier. I'm going to do a video on some of this stuff later, and I'm going to talk about the difference between global multipliers, nested multipliers, and why additive effects aren't as bad as a lot of people are giving them credit for. And it really has to do with the fact that some multipliers are only good if you have the additive effects to go with them. Like, for instance, the one that I just showed you with close, if you don't have the additive effects to go along with the close multiplier, then adding the close multiplier is pretty much useless for you. Same thing goes for Death's Reach on the Necromancer. So if you are not using distant modifiers, if you do not have a bunch of distant additive bonuses, again, that is useless for you. You should not be running Death's Reach on a Necromancer unless you also have additive distant bonuses. In fact, I think when they finally do put this video out, I think a lot of you guys will realize that a lot of these skill points that you're putting into specific things might actually be wasted. And you could make a little bit more room on your build for other things that might be a little bit more important.
I'm not ready yet.
If Nature's Reach says damage percent, if it's worded the same way that Pit Fighter is, where it says 9% X increased damage to close or increased damage to distant, then yes, it's the same way.
Just wait.
Another one that's really important is critical damage. So I know a lot of people love critical damage. There's a lot of people running critical damage mods, critical damage multipliers, and you're looking at critical damage multipliers and you're thinking that they're amazing, right? Those are actually the same way. So critical damage multipliers actually also suffer from a lot of the same issues that the close and the distant stuff does, which is where they only really affect their own category. And there are multiple categories of crit damage, and it gets kind of fuzzy with crit. But let me see if I can write in the calculation for that too, for those of you who are interested. So crit damage equals it's 1.5 plus base crit, which is actually important here because base crit is one of the things that's actually getting multiplied. Then it's plus your crit multiplier.
Who is this?
Plus type add.
Donkey, you talking to me?
Did you just join?
Alright, so this is the formula
I
right
joined
here.
a while ago. I was right next to you all the time.
And I know that the formula is a little bit kind of like hazy, and you might not exactly know what the hell it does. But let me explain this formula to you guys, so that those of you who are running crit builds, I think most of us are running crit builds at this point, so you understand what's going on here. So multipliers, crit multipliers are amazing. They do lots of additional damage. However, crit multipliers do not multiply things like conditional crit and type crit. So if you're a necromancer, you're familiar with this, because I think the necromancer is the one that has it the most, which is things like crit damage from bone skills. Crit damage from bone skills is not multiplied. Conditional crit is not multiplied. On top of this, it only takes into account your base crit add. So your base crit add, which is the original part of the calculation there, you see where it says 1.5 plus base crit add times 1 plus crit multiplier. So your crit multiplier is actually only modifying your base crit add. Which means that most of the crit damage multipliers that you get are actually not getting multiplied by the multipliers. Which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of conditional crit bonuses, and there's a lot of type crit bonuses, and they're not getting the same treatment as the rest of your crit bonuses.
Ooh. Yes. Perfect roll.
So, basically what I'm saying is that, like, the additive bonuses aren't as bad as they seem. Like, a lot of people have kind of put a lot of hate on the additive bonuses, because basically what you're looking at here is you're looking at, okay, well, the additive bonuses don't really give me all that much. But what's actually going on is that you have a lot of multipliers that are actually multiplying those additive bonuses, but they're only effective if you have those additive bonuses. Like, for instance, Pit Fighter is not a bad ability. It gives you a 9% crit, or a 9% multiplier on your close, right? But if you don't stack close, it's useless for you. So you have to stack the additive multiplier of the close damage. So things like, I'm trying to see, I know I have one of them around here which has close on it. Can't remember which one, but I know I have close on one of these. But if you're running a whole lot of close modifiers, you're going to get a bigger bonus. Like for instance, let's take a really easy example. The rogue, right? So if you're running a rogue, you're probably using 2 daggers, a melee rogue. And what's the passive effect on daggers? Close damage, right? So if you're running 2 daggers on your rogue, you are getting a lot of close damage, which means running a close multiplier is going to be really effective for you. So on a rogue, you definitely want to run that close multiplier because you've got a whole lot of additive close bonuses which you can then multiply. I mean, this goes back to school days, like literally school days. If you think about it, like when you were in, when you were in school, you could look at it very simply as when the teachers would tell you things like anything times 0 equals 0, right? So anything times 0 equals 0, and they would do the trick question all the time. They'd be like, all right, who wants to answer this question? 0 times 5 equals what? And everybody like, 5? No, anything times 0 equals 0, you idiot. Of course, the teacher wouldn't say that these days because she'd probably get fired, but but that's basically what's going on here. Is a lot of these multipliers are amazing, but if you're not stacking the actual effect to go with the multiplier, you're getting nothing. No, it's not getting multiplied by any damage that's applied. That's incorrect, El Duardino. It's actually multiplying your actual close percentage. So if you take a look at your actual close percentage right here, which is 39.2, right? You can take a look at this, and you can actually look at it and watch it get multiplied. Let me show it to you again. So 39.2, I take out the ability. So take out Pit Fighter, and you will literally see the close multiplier literally disengage. Now we're at 27.7. So the 9% multiplier that comes from Pit Fighter is not multiplying your damage. It is multiplying your additive bonus from close damage. So your close damage of 27.7 is getting multiplied by the 9%, not your damage. So if I have a whole lot of damage to close, and I'm using that multiplier, it's very effective. If I don't have a whole lot of damage to close, and I'm using that modifier, it's very ineffective. The only reason I'm really using it is for this beautiful crit right here. I may actually pull some points out of that, but I do like the distance damage reduction. I mean, it's not really very difficult math. I mean, it's really the same thing, honestly, as, let's say, vulnerable, right? Let's say you have a whole bunch of vulnerable damage, like vulnerable bonuses, which is a very good one, right? But if the monster's not vulnerable, you're not getting any of that, right? So if you don't actually make the monster vulnerable, you're getting no bonuses. That's basically how a lot of these conditional multipliers are working, is they're only working if you have a lot of bonuses to increase them. Just the same way that vulnerable only works if you actually make the monster vulnerable.
I'm not ready yet. I must wait.
I mean, it really comes down to whether you want to utilize the multipliers or not. If you're building close damage, then use the close damage multipliers. If you're not building close damage, then don't use the close damage multipliers. It really comes down to as simple as that. So if you're not stacking close damage, don't use the close damage multiplier that goes along with it. You can't just put multipliers on things and expect them to do massive amounts of damage unless you're also going to actually additively stack the other things which are going to make them useful.
I'm not ready yet.
We got 40, 50 minutes, 50 minutes till the live stream. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing in the dungeon.
I'm not ready.
Carry me, boy. I mean, everything is in a giant formula. I mean, if I showed you the whole formula, it would be like going across the entire screen like multiple times. It's not fun to look at the entire formula. I'm talking about individual parts of the formula because it works better that way. So when you talk about individual parts of the formula, you can see better how these individual parts interact with themselves.
I must wait.
So you notice that things like the multiplier for close, you start to realize that the multiplier for close doesn't actually affect all of your damage. It only actually modifies your close additive damage, which it multiplies your additive damage,
I'm not ready.
which is very effective if you have large amounts of additive damage. 50 minutes. Yes, relax. That is correct. Vulnerable damage is one of like the best multipliers global. It's what I would consider a global multiplier. So the difference between a global multiplier and a nested multiplier is that global multipliers basically affect everything. Nested multipliers only affect that one thing that they're attached to. In fact, there's some of them are nested within nests. They're literally double nested. And the double nested multipliers literally only affect one subset of a category.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
I can't kill it, and it's not dying.
Yeah, the reason why vulnerable is so powerful is because it affects the enemy, not necessarily you. It's a different part of the calculation, and it comes into play when you're talking about how things are calculated. Because it's actually affecting the enemy, it's a debuff that you put on the enemy, not necessarily a buff that you are putting on yourself. If you look at it from that lens, you start to understand why vulnerable is so effective. Because you're not buffing up your damage, you're increasing the amount of damage that the monster takes, which is different than buffing up your damage. And then you are then applying other modifiers that increase the damage dealt to a vulnerable enemy, which is then causing even more damage to occur. Vulnerable is just like absolutely broken in this game, and honestly it's one of the best damage modifiers, like bar none. And pretty much everybody should be building it at this particular point. I don't think there's any contest with that. I think most people understand that the vulnerable is literally the best modifier that you can have. And like I said, it's really because it applies to the monster and not necessarily you. Because you're actually applying that vulnerable effect to the monster. And they're receiving a large damage increase to anything that attacks them because they are vulnerable. Anything that debuffs the monster is usually more effective than things that buff you directly, because debuffing the monster is a different calculation. Let's get my Undaunted up.
vulnerable uptime is just so important. Whenever you make a build, you just have to think about how much vulnerable uptime can you get.
Honestly,
announcing
honestly,
this season.
permanent vulnerable uptime is more important than just about anything else. Like
Yep.
it's very important to find a way to cause your vulnerable to be up basically all the time.
They're announcing season 1.
They're
it's
announcing
up?
it already? It's up already? I thought it was 2 p.m.
No, it's the Sanctuary Discord.
Oh,
Diablo 4 News just did a Twitch thing.
a Twitter post. Let's take a look
Twitch.
at it.
Quality of life update. First season announcement. And there's a world boss in 27 minutes.
Stream begins in 29 minutes. Let's pull this up on YouTube, though, because I can get no ads on YouTube, and that way we won't have a bunch of ads playing during the stream. Even though I probably already gonna have ads playing during the stream. I'm
I
sorry.
love YouTube. Hashtag YouTube Premium.
Yeah, I got YouTube Premium, so.
I love it.
YouTube Premium is great. And if you don't have YouTube Premium, you probably should have YouTube Premium. I'm sorry. Probably should. Alright, so we got the Doojank right here. It starts pretty soon. We got 29 minutes. Is it currently on live? It's a little bit delayed from the Twitch stream. The Twitch stream is a little bit ahead. Let me check out their Twitter and see if there's a post. So first season announcements. According to this is on the Diablo 4 updates what they're going to be talking about today. So they're going to be talking about the first season announcement. That's the first thing. The second thing they're going to be talking about is quality of life updates. So we're going to be looking at quality of life updates for Sanctuary, which I'm going to be honest with you, that's the first thing on my mind. I'm okay with the game at the moment. Like, I like the way the game currently is set up. But dear Lord Jesus in heaven, they've got to figure out these quality of life problems. They're absolutely terrible. Like, they're awful. There's so many bad quality of life issues in this game. That like you know, like, we get it. You've got a good game. It's successful. You did a good job. You know, like you were able to create something that people enjoy. All right, but now we've got a lot of quality of life issues. Like, the toilet doesn't work. Like, the sink is stopped up. You know, like the refrigerator keeps cutting out, and my ice cream keeps melting. Like, I mean, granted, they're first world problems, and I totally understand that. But, like, please, for the love of God, just let us. Just give us some quality of life fixes on a lot of these horrible issues. That's basically what we're looking for at this point. Stash space, somewhere to put our aspects, like, fix the sea level stuff. We really need them to fix the sea level stuff. That stuff is terrible. I don't know why character level is the deciding factor for all of equipment. It doesn't make any sense.
I must wait.
Hopefully they go over a lot of this stuff today, because I'd like to see a ton of it addressed.
My burden is too great.
Ow.
I'm not ready yet.
Diablo 2 had a better stash, that's for sure. This is a basic build. Suck replays. That's basically what this is. No pun intended. The entire purpose of this is to run a basic build, so basically full basic damage. Basic gems in my items, utilizing the battle trance, which increases that basic skill. And if I can ever find one, a Ramalandi's magnum opus, which also increases the basic damage, including things like Edge Masters, which also increases basic damage. Which, by the way, Edge Masters is a global multiplier, so it says 40x skills deal 40x damage. So that is a global multiplier. Edge Masters is amazing, by the way. It's one of the better global multipliers that you can utilize for characters. So with the global multiplier for Edge Masters and the Ramaladni's Magnum Opus, once I can get my hands on it, and Battle Trance, I should be looking at some pretty crazy damage output for Frenzy. Yeah, Ramalama Ding Dong. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to translate all this into actual, like, workable information. Like, a lot of people don't want to look at giant formulas and stuff like that. I'm trying to, like, put it into ways that you can actually understand how things are useful and why they're useful. Well, how people are hitting those 30 million damage crits and stuff like that, you know, like, what's going on? Like, how are they able to do that and I'm not, essentially.
Wait.
Whoa!
I'm not ready.
Who died? Well, he's level 69. No wonder he's dead.
That's a lot of explosions.
Yeah, it is.
Is it done?
Alt-tab does suck in most games. Knock, thank you for the, Captain Diabetes. Diabetes and diabetes test and supplies. Thank you for the 50 new jinx. The, Alt-tab, it's one of the reasons why I never use anything other than borderless windowed mode for my games, because I don't like to have to Alt-tab all the time. Because Alt-tabbing often causes lots of issues. So if you utilize Alt-Tab within games a lot, there's like a whole focus thing where the game tries to take focus and then it like resizes the screen and it messes with a bunch of applications and it can cause all sorts of issues. So try borderless windowed mode. I know it might not have the best performance over full screen, but borderless windowed mode is honestly my go-to, like from like the point that it existed within games. And I get actually upset when it's not an option. Like, if it's not an option for a video game, like, you're making me mad. Like, I need borderless windowed mode at this point. It's literally my bread and butter. That way you don't have to Alt-Tab all the time. Another thing that I would recommend is that for this particular game, if you guys haven't already done it, go into your options and go to graphics. And this max background FPS, put that to like 60. And also turn the play sound and background option on, so that way when you go to a different window, it's not such a jarring transition between the two. So when you like go over here and click on chat, for instance, and you're no longer focused on the game, the sound still plays and the FPS doesn't drop to like 5 while you're clicked off the screen. I know a lot of you guys probably, just like me, use Discord, you use alternate windows, you go into Chrome. There's 100 different reasons why you might not be, you know, focused on the game at that particular moment. And having the sound stop playing and the FPS drop down to like 5 FPS just because you clicked over to type in chat for a second, or you're sharing something in Discord, or whatever might be going on, is stupid. So if you change those settings, that'll fix a lot of that right there. And borderless windowed mode. Borderless windowed mode is very nice as well. Yeah, 21 minutes till the stream starts.
My bags are full.
My bags are full. Ow. Trying to pick up an item, you freaking rude. Can't even pick nothing up. Just want to pick up some pants. Won't even let me pick up some pants.
I'm not ready yet.
Resistances are currently useless, Moss Front. There's really nothing. I can't really say anything else other than that. At this current point in time, resistances are basically useless. Until they fix it in Season 2, we're looking at basically not useful at all, unfortunately. That's the June one? Yeah, you're right. Hold on, let me pull up the... they don't even have it posted yet, do they? Let me refresh and see if they've got it posted. They do not have it posted yet. Let's go over to the Twitter, because I do have the Twitch one up. Hold on. Ah, too many windows open. Close you. Close you. Close you. Mm, 28 minutes. Let me hear. Let's just bring this one up for right now. The one on YouTube will either go live later or it'll pop up whenever it feels like it. We'll see. I will use this one if I have to, but I don't want to use this one if I don't have to. Where's they don't even have it live right now. I'm assuming they're gonna go live later. That's probably what's going on. Because this is the June one. They don't even have it up yet, so we're just waiting for them to post it at this particular point. None of this stuff matters. None of the points matter in this game of life.
Would you like something?
They still need to post it. That's what's going on. They haven't even put it up yet. We've been going through my rare items.
Decent value.
Ugh, rupture. Yucky. Damage reduction from enemies that are bleeding. Thorns and maximum life. It's not terrible. I would prefer another DR on there, though. Then I sell it directly to NPC. Heh. No, hopefully they will post it soon. I'm keeping an eye out.
Step outside for a minute before the world boss.
Oh yeah, we do have the world boss coming up here in a minute.
Like 14 minutes.
I was looking at him earlier. I might as well wait for him. I know it's 14 minutes away, but I'm otherwise preoccupied at the moment. I'm capped on some of them, yeah. I definitely am capped on some of them. I'm capped on the leather for sure, which is annoying. I've been at 99999 rawhide for a long time. Iron and silver ore I'm constantly struggling with. I seem to have recovered a little bit from my last horrible debacle, but it definitely does seem to be getting worse, not better.
I can't do that.
I need to start converting some of that rawhide into superior leather because it drops all the time from everywhere. And I know, it's just, you know.
I can't do that here.
Yeah, it just takes a while to make the superior leather. They only let you do it 20 at a time, as as everyone's been pointing out. It takes some time. Like, you can't just craft like a whole bunch of it and move on. Oh, Broken Gimp's got one of the really high badges.
I need time to do that.
Yeah, that's a multi-month badge right there. I can't remember which month that is, but that's a very high tier. His name is Heckenbo Becken. He's an amazing cat. He went missing a while back, and we don't know where the hell he ended up, unfortunately. Sad story. One time I woke up in the middle of the night and that cat was licking my beard. Just licking my beard. I would push him away and he would come right back and just start licking my beard again, and I would push him away and then go back to sleep, and I would wake up and he'd be on my chest licking my beard. And I never really understood what the hell was going on. Like, he just liked to lick my beard. Like, he would spend like an hour and a half just licking my beard. Like, I'm like, bro, it's not really that big. It's not like I don't got like a full man beard like going on. And then I looked it up. Of course, I looked it up, and I'm like, why the hell do cats like to lick beards? And apparently, it's a thing. Apparently, some cats just really like to lick beards. It's like a whole cat thing. Well, good. We get to kill the world boss while we're waiting on the event. World boss is up in 11 minutes, guys. Alright, there we go. The actual live stream is now up. I'm going to post a link to it in case you guys want to watch it without my face on here. You know, as much as I would like to have you guys around and you guys can stay with me and chat with me and we can have fun yakking and smacking. This is the actual live stream link. So the official link. Let me just go ahead and put that in there. That is the official link if you guys would rather look at the official link as opposed to my ugly face, which I'm going to be up here the entire time. So this is my channel. Ha. Put my face on Bale's statue. I can't because I don't got my green screen stuff on. I need a green shirt for that. I do get a green shirt underneath it here, like Superman. Unfortunately, it's not green enough. No, it hasn't started yet. We got 25 minutes before the dev thing starts. Ranked arenas. I'm just mad they're going to make us sit through some Diablo Immortal talk. If you guys are unaware, this isn't just a Diablo 4 stream, this is also a Diablo Immortal stream. So, we're going to have to sit through some Diablo Immortal nonsense. Yeah, this is not exactly only Diablo 4. Just put your fingers in your ears and go la la la, whatever, la la la.
you not here for the Legion?
Me? No, I'm over here at the world boss just waiting.
Oh.
I just got too many things going on. I can't pay attention and fight at the same time. Hey, you know what? Let's have some fun, shall we? Let's have a little fun. Doo 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 doo. Let's have a little fun. Doo 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 doo. Some fun. Boop. Boop. Didn't work. Didn't work. Didn't work. Come on. Didn't work. Let's try it again. Mom. What the hell is going on? Close the app, reopen it. Since it wants to be annoying. How do I already own that? There's no way I already own that. That is weird. Hey, Jane, I just tried to buy something and it said that I already owned something that you can't own. You can't own that. It's not even ownable. There we go. Bam. Finally. Took forever. Look at all that spam. That's about to spam up on my screen, too. Wah, wah, wah. Whatever. Oh, congratulations. Look at that. We got a bunch of new members now. 20 new members, in fact. Memberships go brrr. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that chat just like flying by.
he's still at world boss.
Maybe, yeah, I think Ginger is still at world.
I'm here. It's 2 minutes and 54 seconds until the world boss spawns. (2 minutes 54 seconds). You feel left out, Del Boy? I don't know what to tell you. I gave away 20 subscriptions, 20 memberships. Maybe somebody else can give away the memberships. I think anybody can gift memberships. All I gotta do is hit the button. Alright, boss is about to spawn. Let's go. Let's go murder a Shava real quick. Maybe I'll finally get my Ramalama Ding Dong. Maybe.
We'll take a little break after the boss. Just watch a stream on TV.
Yes, you have to actually turn it on to allow gifting, like in YouTube. So if you have it set to off, you don't get any gifts. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that. I got no clue. They really should be taking advantage of these campaign bosses more. But instead, they're not. Which is stupid. Every Diablo game has leveraged the campaign bosses for fun fights that you can have outside of the campaign. And apparently Diablo 4 is just like, eh. I don't even think Ashava can kill me at this point. Unless I let her. Like, I have to literally let her kill me.
I need more time. Not ready yet.
Not that my damage is the most amazing. Like, I'm not gonna say my damage is like ridiculous. I still don't have my main item for this character, so maybe she'll be kind enough to give me one. Yeah, most characters who are like level 100 plus can just absolutely demolish her from existence. It's kind of insane. Like 2 or 3 shots and she's just gone. Goodbye, Shava.
I'm impressed.
this is in the stash for later.
How long till they start?
For the event, for the thing, it's 13 minutes until the live stream.
Anything else?
It's not a bad helmet. Unfortunately, it's Dex. It's an 815 with nearly perfect life. Pretty decent cooldown reduction. If only that was strength instead of Dex. Or all stats. Hmm. Don't you guys have phones? Come on now. Don't you guys have phones?
I'm not ready yet.
I'll be back.
Alright, Chunks.
Turn the stream on.
Yeah, 12 minutes. I gotta have time to do something. What do we got? HellTide? Let me see if I can get at least one chest done real quick. I should be able to open up one mystery chest before the stream starts.
I can't do that here.
I'll be right back.
I'm not ready yet.
You guys don't have loans? What?
Praise Akarat. His will be done. Lead us to darkness, so our light may shine and purify.
I need more time.
Don't fart in the enclosed space, Walk Dead. You're gonna kill everybody.
I need more time.
I love it when the little HellTide bosses spawn on your head and you can just like one-shot them.
I'm not ready yet.
Hello, goodbye. Oh, another one spawned. Well, they gave me a twofer. Look at that. I'm gonna kick you across the map. How about that? Good lord, how many explosions you got, buddy? A lot.
I need time to do that. I'm not ready yet.
Swallowed. Oh yes, the kick is hilarious. Like, I know kick isn't the most amazing ability in the world, but I'm actually starting to warm up to it. I think it's actually really nice. But man, as if it isn't hilarious to just kick like a monster off the screen. Oh my god, it's just, here, bye. You just kick them off the screen. Look, there is a perverse joy that I take from kicking monsters off the screen. I literally will kick like a whole group of monsters off the screen and just laugh. Like, let's see this shaman right here. You see this poor little shaman? You guys can't tell me that's not hilarious. You guys can't tell me. Like literally just walking up to a monster like that and just being like, bye. You just kick him off the screen. It's great. I love it. It works on elites and all sorts of stuff. You'll be in a dungeon and there'll be like this big beefy monster that's got like a shield and everything else, and you just walk right up to him and you're just like, bye. It works great for keeping those dangerous monsters away from you too, like the ones that have like the exploding effects and all the other stuff. And they explode too, which is pretty cool. If you have the if you have this one, which makes it so that if enemies die when they get kicked away from you, they explode, and they dish out massive amounts of damage when they explode too. It's pretty great. So if you get a monster kind of like low before you kick him away from you, like maybe about like half health or something like that, and then when you kick him away from you, he'll explode, like this guy, and then he instantly explodes and he does like massive amounts of damage to everything around him. It's pretty nice. The kick explosion thing is pretty cool. There's a lot of fun things you can do with kick. Like you can reset your leap with kick. You can like make enemies vulnerable with kick. Kick also has a knockdown if you hit like the walls and stuff like that. Like it's hilarious. Here, let's find another monster to kick. What's up, succubus? Come here. Go away. She tried to backpedal. You saw that? She was like, "Oh no, you ain't gonna kick me." 7 minutes. What you looking for, Matthew?
I need time to do that. I must wait.
Oh, it's just on the Diablo page. I already linked it like 3 times. Just go to the Diablo page. I'm gonna be pulling it up full screen for us to see here in a little bit. Obviously, in 6 minutes and 46 seconds, it'll take over the entire thing, and we're gonna close out Diablo 4. So
Wouldn't have made it without you.
it's not active yet, though. So there's no reason to just sit there on the screen.
Wouldn't have made it without you.
Honestly, you're not going to be able to chat with anybody over there anyway. I hate to say it, but you're not... Like, the stream chat usually goes by so fast on those things, you can't chat with anybody. You can actually chat with people over here. Yeah, my face. I like to kick monsters to people also. I think it's pretty funny. Like my friend over there, I'm gonna kick this guy to my friend. There you go, you can have him. No, 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 don't come back. Look, it's not a yo-yo, okay? Look, I'm gonna kick him to my friend. Here, here's a spider over here. You can have that one.
Ready yet?
Here, you want an abomination? Give you an abomination. I heard you like abominations. I got you an abomination.
Won't forget this, stranger.
Why, thank you. 128. Close. We got 5 minutes. Do I got enough time? I got enough time to get that one-handed chest. There was a one-handed chest over here. Let me grab that one. I think I'm just gonna skimp it today and not get the mystery chest.
I need more time.
This live stream is too close. We need to get things set up. Yeah, light weaponry. Come on, Ramalama Ding Dong. Nope, no Ramalama Ding Dong. Sadness. Only sadness. Only sadness. I've been trying to get that weapon for so long. Alright, let's hop out of here. Let's get things set up because the live stream's about to start. I'm going to hop out of voice chat, Luli. I'll see you later. And let's pull this up here. We're going to bigify it. We're going to triple bigify it. And then we're going to put our mouse over here so we don't have a little doojink. Let's make sure we've got it set to the highest quality. Let's make sure we're on the live version. Let's get that volume cranked up. Ready to go. What are we expected to hear? Let me mute this or just bring this down for just a minute. What are we expected to hear? Well, apparently they're going to talk about a Diablo Immortal, which is boring. I don't think anybody wants to hear about Diablo Immortal at this particular point in time. They're also going to be telling us about some sort of corruption thing that's apparently going to be taking over. There is a corruption, I don't know, they just said corruption is coming or corruption is spreading or something like that. So probably some type of event. We're also going to be hearing about Ladder Season 1, so we're going to find out the official launch date of Ladder Season 1, and we're also going to find out some of the more specific things about Ladder Season 1, probably like what's coming. They're probably going to hint maybe at certain things. They're probably going to keep certain things secret. We might also be getting information on like new uniques, possibly. I would bet that they're probably going to tell us about what uniques are coming for the next season. And maybe what kind of special events we're going to be looking at for Season 1. They said they're also going to be talking about a lot of quality of life issues. So quality of life is a really big thing right now. I think a lot of people are satisfied with the core of the game, but the quality of life issues are just mounting. They're mounting and mounting and mounting. Storage space, aspects, character level being applied to everything, like sacred items having a level requirement of level 100, like tons of things like that. There's tons of quality of life issues within the game, and I'm hoping that they address a lot of them today. By the way, if you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, you know, hang around. I got tons of content coming up. We're going to be doing tons of videos. I also going to be playing Ladder Season 1. You can hang out with us. And you can also join the kinship if you're so inclined. We have a guild, basically. Are you wasting your time with your character before Season 1? In some ways, yeah.
Hello.
That's it? That's how you open? Hello.
I'm going to do that every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to another Diablo Developer Update Livestream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well,
Rod.
I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so...
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to.
So we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way.
All
to say
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And of course, we have Chris Leal,
lead UX designer on Immortal,
and Ryan Quinn.
Hi, I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
So we are actually starting off today's show with some Diablo Immortal conversations. Also, I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today. We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson.
It's because I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one
I
of them.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing. But he does have a really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now. I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A. And there you go. You're just on the spot and you have to answer it. So
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that, like, as a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we want to take. We don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want, anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo, we want to be able to talk about it. You know, I could imagine we're going to have a Season 29 conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future. And so one of the things we're going to do today was not just talk about, you know, we are definitely going to talk about Season 1 on Diablo 4. And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there, trust us. But it's going to take a minute. But what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into Season 1. We're going to talk about, you know, what's going on with D4 today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And
tantric.
And then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal, because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo Immortal, which is in nearly a decade, we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed. And we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, you know, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, Story and Franchise, and Blizzard Video, and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So without further ado, may we present to you the new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
Diablo Immortal.
The darkness has always been with us. And humanity is right to fear it. The darkness wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it in defiance. Humanity is right to fear the darkness, but I am a blood knight, and the darkness fears me.
It's like a Diablo.
There we have it. The new
Castlevania
class
character
coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal. It's the Blood Knight.
July 13th.
July 13th.
A little over a week away.
Exactly.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream, so people can actually check it out. It will be on YouTube, along with all the details that we're about to talk about. We just like to get ahead of ourselves. That's all. But obviously, first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the story and so forth behind the Blood Knight. Ryan, give us a little bit of background regarding the Blood Knight itself.
Yeah, sure. So I think historically, when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And it's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic. But after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new and different. To do a supernatural class that's kind of monstrous.
He said new and different.
That are other dark
it's literally a
classes like
Castlevania copy.
And the Demon Hunter.
It's not new and different.
And so we're really, really stoked about the opportunity to release the Blood Knight on.
It's nice. Yeah, I know, like, obviously everyone's kind of seeing the Blood Knight and they're thinking, like, is this, like, vampiric in some sort of way? Or, like, how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
Right, so the fine details are Blood Knights and vampires are intertwined. On Sanctuary, vampires are kind of like living plagues. They go from hunting ground to hunting ground. They kill people, they bite people. And sometimes people who they've bitten, they suffer this monstrous transformation. They start to devolve into what we call thralls, kind of like lesser vampiric beings, long teeth, hunger for blood, all that stuff. And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place. They get some advantages, but they get some drawbacks too.
What do you mean, the curse of turning into a thrall is a drawback?
Well, their thraldom is essentially on pause. So basically what happens is a Blood Knight, also preternaturally strong and fast, can see in the dark, can smell blood from a mile away, doesn't age anymore, as you've seen in the concept art, very, very fancy. But on the flip side, you know, they have these blood red eyes, they have black veins in their face, makes people uncomfortable. And maybe,
why.
Yeah, I know, right? And sort of more pivotally than that, you know, deep inside their soul, there is an abomination, a monstrous darkness that hungers for violence. And in order to tamp that down, in order to slow their transformation further, they have to perform a ritual. That keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their lifeline. So
like a link to their past?
Yeah. It's got a memento within of the last place that they were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every morning, noon, and night, they're doing ablutions with this thing to hopefully continue to keep the darkness at bay. But, you know, it's a process.
Right.
The ritual, it's hearsay. You know, it's been passed down for hundreds of years. And for basically every Blood Knight, you know, it may fail at some point. All Blood Knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Could
they
be
don't
centuries,
know.
right? They're very, very long-lived. What they do know and what they pledge on is that they're going to use all of the time they have left to push back the darkness. And ultimately for them, since that is such an uncertain question, it's really about their inner sense of balance. Can I do enough good to make up for the evil that will rise when I'm gone?
I just wanted to give a shout out because we had the art up there earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking. At the same time, they're very pretty. I've been joking about it. I'm like, oh, look, they're so pretty.
Well, if you were going to turn into a monster, you'd want to stop.
Well, it's funny because they're very gorgeous here, and then they turn into the abomination, which is really funny to see. So it's like a complete opposite of what it is.
I mean, you mentioned the abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this creature during that. So what actually is going on here? Like, this is a I guess Chris will talk eventually about like how an abomination comes to me, but this is basically them tapping into what's inside them to change form.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them extreme power in the short term.
This is the Bruce Banner Hulk thing.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop there of like, do I come back from this?
Right. Okay. Got it.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight, obviously, like, it's new class. How does it fit, Chris, into the like a gameplay style? Like, what if you're playing at Blood Knight? What can you expect the style to be as a person that's actually jumping into Diablo?
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a host of shadow and blood abilities they can use to manipulate the battlefield in their favor. I think the drawback of Blood Knights might be that players that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it. So like in combat more often, close combat, so they're essentially taking more damage, but then they have abilities themselves to actually essentially drain, as we can see, kind of like life from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
The kebab attack, as I like to call it,
the skewer.
The skewer attack is my favorite thing right now. I was like, so what's happening there? We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well, is where they're basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer. So that's you're like Chris is like, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
But it actually has a stun as well, right? It's not just the attack on the one thing that you skewered. It actually it has an area effect.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward into the closest enemy, then swings overhead the enemy and slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge forward or actually leap to perform the slam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I know, like, of course, with every class in Immortal, they all have different ultimates depending on their primary attack skills and so forth. Like, what kind of two different ultimates can we expect with the Blood Knight?
Yeah, I could talk a bit about the primary attacks. The first is Ravage. They're basically swinging their polearm around in a 3-hit combo.
The graphics look so bad on this game. They look so bad. I know it's a mobile game, but they just look so bad.
And
dual wielding polearms, that's I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique one. It's the first in Immortal where in melee range, the Blood Knight will do a slash, and for enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward. And there are legendary essences that add damage over time or make the dagger ricochet.
Nice. So you can essentially it's good room clear type of abilities is what I'm hearing. So if you got a ton of mobs in front of you, especially if the daggers are ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination that we were talking about beforehand.
So why would I want to become the abomination? What do I get from that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the abomination a bit. The way it works is it is a transformative skill that requires defeating enemies to fill the bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more often, and it then transforms your entire skill bar into a new primary attack, followed by two specific skills, a Blood Rush, where the Blood Knight actually dashes forward in a ball of blood, and then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and slam the ground, stunning everyone. A lot of stuns.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself, and there are like even other components and that are kind of going to be coming with this actual update. Do you guys have any like additional information on?
Well, there's ways to play it, right? Like, so the things that's really interesting. Like I think having a new character class introduced on basically the anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like, it's a great way to celebrate 1 year that Immortal has been at. It's hard to believe it's already been a year. It's crazy. but so having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm going to obviously. Well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Because there's basically three ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year, like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver. Right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So if you're brand new to Immortal and have never played before, you can play the Blood Knight right out of the gate, create a new character completely free, and start with the main story complete with custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod, who have been playing for a while and want to convert to this class, I'm happy to say that we've made some major improvements to class change. Strength and intelligence will now convert properly.
I know, it's a huge request that a lot of people are asking for, yes.
Yes, it's going to be great. And also, players will be able to, during the event, change to the Blood Knight on a one-day cooldown and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of, or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice. Awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be.
So I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class.
You got to see the stream
character.
chat. Like you guys got to see the stream chat.
I have a very specific build with very specific gear. But if I wanted to go play Fractured Planes, it says, "Oh, you're a barbarian. Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this," and you build up your gear and stuff as you're playing.
They are not happy.
Experience, yeah.
Exactly.
And so now for the Blood Knight introduction, you've created Crimson Planes, which is a version of the same experience to go and test drive all the different Blood Knight skills?
Exactly. So you'll be able to try out different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand, customize it, and it's completely free. And then, of course, any existing character can do class changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then we even have just other items associated with this specific patch that'll be hitting as well.
Full set of legendaries for the Blood Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog immediately after the stream. So you guys can check out the cinematic trailer that we showed off for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog, and of course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon. It's crazy. We do. We're super stoked. The cinematic is amazing, by the way. I just want to
Why are you, for people who didn't get to see it in full frame rate, you're basically rubbing their noses right now.
Essentially,
Go watch it again, please.
See it in the Blizzard Cinematics team. Amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then, of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out all the details.
Congratulations, guys, on the year. It's been an amazing year for Immortal. And I think people who maybe tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it, basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, and the tower, the clan play, there's just so much else going on. So it's a free-to-play game. If you want to go check it out just to see all the changes, like I said, there's been in a year, it's a completely different game in the sense of the different ways that you can approach the content, which is exciting. But hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair.
They're
of
holding us
really,
hostage.
Really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast.
We've been held hostage here.
Killed it as the Blood Knight. It's just pure haughtiness and bloodlust and action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on. I was going to say the name of the villain, our Act 3 villain in Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better time to re-roll, to start a new run through the main story.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much, and congratulations.
Thanks so much,
thank you.
Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4 content. We're actually going to take like a really short break because we got to swap people in. This room is only so big, and we also need mics off of people and everything. But we're going to be swapping in into our Diablo 4 segment. So we'll see you here in a minute or so.
A minute or so. What we got? Some sort of doojang? This is a trailer we've seen 100 times. They're playing filler for us. It is really cool. The cinematic is nice. I wonder if they'll show the entire thing this time, or is it just going to be the edited version? This could be the in-game version, which is a lot longer, by the way.
May we fight true in his holy name. Blessed be the light.
And we're back.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's going to be my intro for everything.
I'm technically not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh, yes. Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
So really nice.
Tim is just going to talk for the rest of the stream.
Wow, okay. I didn't prepare for that at all.
Surprise.
Maybe you should actually introduce people?
Yes,
or?
I will introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Ismay. May I introduce you?
Hello, Tim
What's
Ismay.
up, Tim?
I'm one of the lead producers on Diablo 4, specifically focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the seasons context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
More than one season. That's going to be. We're revealing that.
Or
he's a little low, by the
security
way.
right there.
I'm actually just asking for it.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have a familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Papora. I'm the Associate Game Director for the live service, and I'm excited to talk about Season 1 today, at last.
But first.
But first.
Oh, but first. That's right.
Because Adam has built everything possible to talk about except the season.
Right. We can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct. We, obviously it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you include
no, but you're right. It is. I always the amount of feedback we get about hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been 5 weeks.
Exactly.
Give us a second.
Exactly.
So
it has been a month, a little bit more than a month since Diablo 4 has actually.
How did you guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
That's smart.
We actually released it.
We're extremely good at our job.
Wait, so you
I don't want to get in
started
the weeds
before the game launched?
I don't want to get in the weeds to everybody, but we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release.
I thought you were just going to say zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
Yeah,
oh my
God,
God,
that's what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My mic is low.
So I don't know if we'll fix that. I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I can project everybody. That's what's going to take.
He can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
You haven't seen Joey P scream.
So you're talking about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway.
Correct.
So yes, it's been 5 weeks.
Obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between. Where we talked about even a big update that was coming before Season 1.
13-page.
Yes, 13-page. Which people are like, well, that must have been 14.5, double-spaced. And I'm like, maybe it was. But it still was very big. It was 11 pages on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything related to the game. We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I will say that later this afternoon, there is going to be another patch, Climb patch, surprise, spoilers, or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes posted this afternoon. Very much not as chonky as 103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over to us in the actual patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, did I actually have this printed out?
I don't think you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 1.04.
I know that they are actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to HellTide chests, so that HellTide chests will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to drop unique items, but yes.
Sorry. Have the chance, not like a guarantee. Now that's quoted, and I'm just like,
yeah.
But,
so that's okay. That sounds stupid for me as the GM to go I thought they already could drop uniques with HellTide chests, so I was mistaken.
I did too.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping unique items from it. So like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those Whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the HellTides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once your uniques can drop in.
That's right. That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep, and I will say, we've been getting, we've mentioned, I think, many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just general gameplay feedback, and it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through, and those are things that, obviously, we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. This is the thing, I was making the joke about they started before, seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. We're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely, because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability. And so we're trying to be as reactive as we can, but in a safe way, and knowing we have a large backlog of Season 1 was already well in flight, and Season 2 is also very much well in flight. And so we're trying to make those adjustments. So we hear the feedback, so please don't take the lack of instantaneous responses and we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about, I want to lock my inventory. We hear you about all the different types of things that you're giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that feedback, and we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end. And so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly. And this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game. So it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey, guess what, a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do hit the game.
I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! About season 1. So we're actually now going to talk about. No, but we do want to talk about season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off before we jump into it. So hit it, Rich and Matt.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague, to rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them. But I cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The Malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
And there we have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. We even teased it on social media yesterday where something was corrupting Sanctuary. I guess Tim, Joe,
okay. So
what's going on now?
So season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary, kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to spread throughout the hearts of the creatures throughout the world. And that's everything from beasts to humans, to demons themselves, everything in between. Can be corrupted by this malignance as beginning to take root and fester inside inside people. And it's basically kind of it's changing them. Right, it's turning into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively, they're going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player is going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season, named Cormond, who we actually saw in the trailer there. Cormond is there he is. Cormond is an ex member of the Cathedral of Light. And he used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light. And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. Would you say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormond?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I think when he's not 100% successful, he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you?" So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that if he's a person, everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, "I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right?" But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. Now, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away. Mm-hmm. You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate, and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
And we're going to talk about the transition from the current Eternal Realm into the season afterwards. We're going to get through the season information first.
Yeah.
Well, then I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character. How do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of like the high level, like what's happening in the world of Sanctuary.
Theme, right?
That's the theme,
we have a seasonal theme with a seasonal story, but like what about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. Yep. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have these growths on it and some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a cage of binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in, and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Yep.
Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well, if you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all of that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry, and that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, but they are extremely powerful. So these are new options of how you can play the game.
Yeah, so this is really, really cool, right? So one of the things we really want to do with each season, to Tim's point, is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a malignant heart that you've managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures that you've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear. We have 32 new, I'm not going to say like over 30, we have 32 new malignant powers.
You know exactly how many powers.
Technically, it's 32. So we have 32 new malignant powers that are going out this way. These are new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here, critical strikes, electrically charged to creatures for a set amount of damage. So these are there's a lot of really powerful things like this that you'll be able to kind of like interact with over the course of time. But each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the malignant of a matching color.
I see.
So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the Opal's vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new HellTide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, so there's 3 different types of color sockets. Yes.
There's 3 different types of colored sockets, but there's 4 different types of Malignant hearts.
Yes. Go on.
Well, okay, I guess I will. So the last Malignant heart type is called basically a raffle. It's an extremely powerful Malignant heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go. And you kind of want a combination of all of these. So even though that the Wrathfuls are pretty strong, you're really only looking to probably have 1 or 2 of these based on what you might actually need for your build, over the course of time. So it's fun, really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, a piece of jewelry?
Yeah.
Are they able to add colored sockets, or are those only
So you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket from when the Season of Malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not you couldn't get just a regular jewel socket.
But even a jeweler created one? If I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
so
it'll always be an
jeweler,
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking for I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for blue. So there'll be multiple versions of the uniques as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So fun new stuff to look forward to, and that's just, we showed in the video earlier, the player fighting a malignant creature. There's a chance for, as Tim pointed out, there's a chance for all kinds of elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature, which makes them a little bit more powerful. But then when you kill them and you go and you actually use the Cage of Binding to capture their heart, then you fight that super consume, the consume version. It's that's gonna be buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger combat in that scene. There's more to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking okay, does that mean the old, the crappy hearts that I got earlier, are those useless? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on once you finish the campaign of Season 1. You will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a Malignant Tunnel. So if you are trying to...
That's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go. And
it's a serious thing when you're over 50. You should know that.
That's
a good point. So if you have a Malignant Tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
In the world of Sanctuary, when we say Malignant Tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them? There are these Malignant Tunnels. So there are actually places across the world where the Malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more Malignant hearts, you can hunt down these tunnels. You can go in and, hey, there are more Malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding Malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need a very specific type of Malignant heart. How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a Malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a Malignant outgrowth. When you use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that specific type of Malignant that's going to have the color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that, and you're going to get the specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end game of Season 1.
Actually, I have go to the C video. It will be able to show you going into an Evoker event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an Evoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. That wasn't the art direction on it, but yeah, that's where we ended up.
So at the end of these Malignant tunnels, you're going to find that there are these masses of Malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the tunnels has a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of Malignant outgrowth that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, certain kinds of Malignant hearts as the player is progressing through the experience. Yeah.
So when we show, like we were just showing it, you went.
Technical
Yeah, show the one
issues.
you were just showing because that was
Okay.
the Invoker event. So basically, there's a growth. You get to the end of the tunnel. There's you're able to basically, essentially, you're requesting a monster of a particular color. Yes, you're saying like I want a blue heart, a chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster. Yes,
That's right. And some of these, are, like particularly later on in the experience, like the most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these Invoker encounters that we go and interact with. So yeah, something we're very excited about.
So basically, they use an Invoker on the one of the pods.
That's right. Yeah, the outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which then creates a blue monster for you to fight. You have to take that down, which will then. So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
Yeah, when this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the 1-2. Right?
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the Invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Roger's called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new, like a new boss and so forth associated
there's new,
with
but we're not really talking
we're
about
not
the boss too much.
redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out.
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect this season.
Correct.
There's our legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Now those new unique legendaries and the unique uniques. Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the eternal realm. So
exactly.
Yeah, if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the eternal realm, there's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Yeah.
So you probably saw it before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic. It was awesome. And we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is. The day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming to you that is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want, July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm, as well as any other improvements, balance changes, rewards changes that we've made. Those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
I think it's like going back to managing expectations. I think one of the things we've been trying to be really clear about with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the Malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story inside the open world.
It just takes place after the events of Diablo 4. But you're absolutely right. This is a new self-contained story within the season of Malignant, which is great because it just gives us it affords us a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features to kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you. We went from golf to
golf to t-ball really fast. No, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we've talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is
no top secret.
So this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1, and then going into here you'll see the season journey, and again, so the season journey is separated into 7 chapters. Like these major chapters, and each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside each of them in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
And you don't have to do all of them?
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Yeah. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass. But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects, ones that you can't normally get through the Codex of Power, through like dungeon completion, and also many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like, one of the things that's hard about, for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this. The notion around, like, I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like, maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller hater. And so I never want to complete a seller. Then the fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great, because that's like, I find you get into situations. I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress. And the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like, we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
which is
in the
season
PvP journey,
fields,
which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the option to do this if they choose.
One thing I do want to call out here as well with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this Battle Pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the Battle Pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the Battle Pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the Battle Pass. You're getting free stuff.
In the seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm. Yes. Rod has always reminded me to say that. In the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there. There's no Battle Pass if you're not in the season.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, that's essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives, those final chapters are really, really tough to complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things at towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue to support it in future seasons.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff.
That's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things, like all of these things will be earning you favor as you kind of play through the season.
Right.
So anything that's getting you experience points is a chance to give you that favor as well.
So if you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example,
right?
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor. Like, this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right?
That's absolutely correct.
I just won't run into any Malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and you can also progress your season journey, but some of those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to Corman, capturing malignant hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets, that stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal story and content immediately.
And that's forevermore. That's one thing we tried to say is that once you complete the campaign on one character on your account,
one character,
for every season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well, and
not always Kyovashad. But yes.
Is that the
Foreshadowing.
only thing that we can be doing to prepare
Well,
for
we should
season
get to
one?
we should get to the battle pass. So the favor. So you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
You're playing the game because you're doing your season journey objectives. You're getting even
and
more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives, and so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass. Whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen because I think it's one of the things. What we highlight here is essentially part of the thing is kind of we use the term chase, but it's this idea of like why would I want to complete the battle pass? And one of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this. And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing, and so. Did you want to talk a little bit about kind of this stuff?
So one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes, and we have even things like the like what we're showing off here, like the Artisan's Tunic. We have some things that are like these. And this is actually one of our free cosmetics. Actually, is this the things are like a little bit lower fantasy that we can use to kind of like role play different kind of themes out for your characters, just give you more options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this, like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff is like some of like the like real chase armor cosmetics that exist at the end of the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that, like, if you notice either the role-playing armor, like the Artisan tunic, or the helmet, is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes can only use certain
specific.
weapons. So if your class can equip that weapon, then you have access to it. Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed, but there are lots of free things on the battle pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things. So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end, and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version...
keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
Okay. The free version
I know where I want to go after you.
Still has some very cool unlocks. And anything related to, well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side. Like, so we were saying there's 27 free tiers in the battle pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are smoldering ashes that you can get based on the level you are in the game and that you've progressed with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect at the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You need to be you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system. And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player is collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage able to carry through. So whether that is like bonus to like XP earned from monster kills, like we call out here, or things like boosting the duration of all elixirs that you're using over the course of the season.
Right, and you can looks like. I'm assuming that, I don't know if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was linear, I can do it 4 times at 15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs, in terms of that particular, the earn or prolonging.
That's right, yeah. We want to make this just be an extra little fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of, help them like boost their characters up a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression through the season and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my Smoldering Ashes, they're like Earn or prolonging is where I want to invest my smoldering ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost. Maybe for me, it's the extra 200 thorns and the 200 armor. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and give you boosts to like get more opportunities to earn like the or better Malignant heart drops that can occur for you as you're playing.
And these are available to everyone because who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track. And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free
you unlock
smoldering
an ash,
ashes,
it might require.
it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is, I think it's tier 8, maybe.
Tier 8,
yeah, and it has a level 40 character requirement, as an example, just to make it really, really clear. Like, you will be able to use this in time, but immediately, like, you need to continue to progress your character and continue to level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing Malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass, we'll get smoldering ashes. We can use those smoldering ashes to apply a season's blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience, if you never want to pay a cent, you are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the battle pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cause things to light on fire.
Yeah, it's just reinforcing what we had talked about before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the battle pass itself, anything that, if you do pay for a battle pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics, and for you, it's no pay for power.
And if you bought the deluxe or the ultimate edition, you already will have an ability to make that a premium battle pass.
Battle pass.
It still doesn't. So
battle pass
for them. So
Shop.
then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, oh, I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but it definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like in the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such, all of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown that you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically where we see areas discovered, let's say I've actually, we'll say this is this person. So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your account as well.
So the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120 renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the season.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with, and like if you look at like all of the renown you can collect from discovering all of the areas and from getting all of your altars of Lilith, it's going to get you in each of the zones, basically through the first 2 tiers and a little bit of the way through the 3rd tier for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with, like if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1, you'll have 5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely. You just claim those things down, you're good to go for the season.
And your map reveal.
And your map reveal. So that goes back to what Tim was teeing up earlier. When we think about, hey, I'm excited about the season, I want to prepare for it, I've got
what's going on? Did it just die? Am I still alive? Did my internet go out?
I wanted to fight the Malignant, but now...
What the ham biscuit is going on? What the ham biscuit? I mean, is it the stream that's bugging out? Let me check on my phone real quick just to be sure, but...
Like, if you had places to go to, like dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into this season.
Yeah, all that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so then Tim, how do I think about? I've got 5, 6 alts, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on your. How do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Tim, tell us.
It's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war, awesome. You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons, will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account. And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra power.
It will accelerate you a little bit as you start.
And because that log in, like if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well, that's
and so forth.
that's the two things we should, because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season, yes?
Yes.
Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check, like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
Absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
so
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my Necro and all that progress gets put to my account. When I go to log in my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro
Correct.
has.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
And let's say, like, just to dive really deep into this. So let's say that you've got, you've got 2 different characters.
We should do some sort of dev stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got, like, 2 characters you play. Like, one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fractured Peaks, and has uncovered, like, all of the altars level both. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked, like, all the Fog of War, has found all the altars Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff, and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think to just again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some of you might be saying, like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to Season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go clear the Fog of War. Like, the original plan when launching the game, or prior to launching the game, the original plan was that there was no transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this. And so hearing the player feedback as we talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what, I have to find all the altars again, what, I have to clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players, we put in a system that allowed us to do that, but is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done? Did you
exactly.
want it done?
It's
the answer is
I'm
yes.
just saying. I'm just saying. Like that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this. Log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah,
That's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of obviously player feedback that we've gotten since launch. So this is us implementing it quickly to address the feedback that you guys have been giving. And then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like the Nightmare Dungeon teleport,
Exactly.
like miracles can happen and very quickly. So
a lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking how long it would take to do it, and the first answer is to do it right.
First answer is they cry.
And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted to do this X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, like zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that. Okay, it's not going to happen. There it is. Okay, yeah, all right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, so we're seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. We want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program. Like we're hearing feedback about this and this, and like inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others. But we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers, and the staff's been helping with all the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality experience to players on a regular basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback. We're going to keep making adjustments as we go between seasons and other updates.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable, no, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now?
Well,
so
I want to move
the first version.
I want to move the Overton window where I just expect everything to be done in 6 seconds.
But this is the thing about about doing it safely. Like I think one of the sort of the junior mistake some people can make is this idea of time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things that when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're up to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability of not only can we get we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, season of the Malignant.
Yes. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long
2 weeks?
time.
In 2 weeks. And again, like Tim had mentioned.
It's not technically here for you all, but soon, very soon.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before, she categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words as super chonky for Season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
Do the campaign,
and making
clear
sure,
the fog of war.
clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to you name it. I can go on. There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and HellTide related activities as well, some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can get like maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live. So we're actually going to be bringing in. We're actually going to kick off Rod because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually just
going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. It's the worst. Rod's going to jump over here. We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team. Who will be jumping in here.
I think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions queued up from different people in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions.
Chris is not quite in. You need to switch clearly.
Oh, I need to scooch too because I think I'm
I think we scooch a little bit more.
Live television. We're scooching live.
And we're scooching live scooching, ladies and
So here's the problem. We also the production team hates me. I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go like, oh, we're only going to have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize. They are angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them. But we do. Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this time. Quick question. Any updates around, this is for D4 specifically, any updates around respecting characters?
Yeah, so right now I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game. And then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters. These are things we're actively investigating. We have designs for things we're looking to add into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to today for that. And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis. We're not making any fundamental structural changes today at this time, but we are, because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 1 to 50. One thing we will be adding though is as part of seasons, there is now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia. Which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all. So these are going to be like pretty fun things to bring back with you to the Eternal Realm if you want to use for future playthroughs or for that character or another character. So we want to make sure that we're like slowly adding a few of these as the players progressing through the experience, kind of make that a little bit easier for players to go through.
And that Scroll of Amnesia is everything. It's all your skills, all your Paragon, everything goes to 0.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want to reiterate.
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new Immortal player, or you're a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing the Blood Knight on day 1, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that it has essentially custom VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually that's a safe statement all the time. Is you should be more prepared.
We have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect. Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be really, really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared, but here we go. That's your design armor.
Question from Fig Lorna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not real questions.
Yeah, from Fig Lorna. Will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something we didn't actually clarify really well.
That is a great question that actually gets asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially, no. Like, initially, the version of the Malignant mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game. So it is absolutely an option. Some mechanics you might see in future seasons might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in Eternal Realm right away. Others will evaluate them as we play them and then see if this is working really well. This is something that we want to integrate with the Eternal version of the game.
Yeah, I want to stay on this just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be, as part of the seasons, intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess. Right. So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time. And it would make the game extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game is going to get extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really, really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all of those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian. And, I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect
rogue
class.
Player and all you play is rogues and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a Barbarian lover and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new Barbarian because we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from Barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist previously. So the idea is some of that stuff is always designed to go away.
Yeah.
So Joe, I mean, one of the things...
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod off camera. Hey, voice
right.
guy. Joe,
yes.
Maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season as one of the benefits so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play Season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back in the experience at level 1 with characters, is it allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey is really engaging and exciting for players to go through. And we want to make sure, like by the end of the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. That everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding in the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself. So that we think of that experience is part of what makes a Diablo game anyways, like making a new character, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end. With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our efforts in seasons for Diablo 4, we think this is a really, really like the prime example of the way that we can make this work.
But I wanted you to hit on the point, the fact that if somebody buys the game,
they're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah, if somebody, like, I'm gonna mess with the camera people. Can you?
Yeah.
You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking stomach. Oh, hey, what's going on? The notion of the thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's gonna live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is, in Season 4, on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together and have fun together. And so as opposed to everybody from this moment on is now falling behind, seasons allows us to have that fresh start for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's actually, I could have put it better myself. That serves as a really, really good opportunity for us to make sure that players have a starting point together when you want to come in a little bit later into the game experience. If you've taken a season or 2 off because something else came out, we want to make sure that it feels like, the most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like, when you're playing seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back. Particularly if you had a good time playing before. That's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Yeah, I'm out.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When the next WoW expansion comes out, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to play WoW for a while. But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the D4 or DI, so I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
Why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah. 2 mics, guys. I'm very. I'm very
I'm too like Adam.
You have me in stereo. Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the what was the Mother's Lament set?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So going forward, there will be now new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring to seasons, and will they need to be reobtained? I know this was like a question that we get a lot from people in regards to transmogs, and if you salvage specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal Realms?
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yes, so if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever, is the current functionality.
Nice.
I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like we're going to change it.
Yeah, don't use the word forever, ever.
Yeah. Let's see. Nightmare, this is from Kincho Kimo. This is Nightmare Teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance? So this one I think is interesting because Nightmare, we obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood Knight? Looking very, very similar to some popular characters from that franchise. Very pretty vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think, when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy like vampires, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiricness. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented. And so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves, etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that regard, I think there's a lot of familiar that we're channeling, but there's also like a very dialed in identity for the class.
Awesome.
Everybody knows that it's necromancers that turn into mist.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have, will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So,
this is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just wanted
this
to.
is a real person. So yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally and performance-wise. When we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams, when we expect like buffs and nerfs to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule, like in cadence when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence, like we talked about.
So yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless if one of the Malignant powers, I know I joked about them being broken. But if the zone lights on fire when you use a Malignant power, we're going to patch that. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep things stable.
I know we're running close on time because we were planning on this stream to be 90 minutes, and we're 1 minute away. So I'm going to lightning off a few questions. A big question within chat is obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about a little bit earlier.
I'll say real quickly though, like we definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future, figuring out how like we're gonna get that accomplished.
Yeah, and also one thing to note is I know we talked about during campfire chats about how gems and so forth were going to be part of the part of materials in the future. So I know when that hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of stash space.
There's lots
for
of different ways to kind of like
slice
away at this problem. And that's like an example of what we're trying to do to start trying to mitigate this a bit.
And then Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously, we had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes it might be a little longer, but you'll always have at least 12 weeks to complete your season.
Correct. Yeah. So you guys will hear
based on the calendar dates, right? But
so you guys will hear like no matter what within or like once we hit that 3 month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting and everything like that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
we have nothing to announce at this time.
Oh wow, that was very strange.
Yeah, Rod sitting off camera can answer that perfectly. So yeah, that I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked a lot about all the stuff with Diablo Immortal for the Blood Knight coming out on July 13th. We also have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season of the Malignant, which is going to be the patch will be on July 18th, and then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do actually have two blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon. You'll be seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's why I have to do it immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys. But we will have a patch. We'll have patch notes up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does hit. It is a client patch. It will require a download. It will be on all platforms. And yeah, lots of Diablo stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating two Diablo content creators immediately after this stream. One on Twitch, which is Barricade, and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo Developer Update Livestream. And from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about, but this ain't over, okay? This ain't over, okay? This ain't over. Let's talk about some of this stuff, shall we? Like, okay, it's my turn now. They got to talk. It's my turn. Let's talk about some of this stuff. So first off, we got the ladder season on July 20th, okay? Which they clarified that the patch will be available on the 18th, so we will be able to get the patch on the 18th. Apparently, that's also going to have access to some of the stuff that we're going to be seeing within the season beforehand, but not all of it. We're gonna have a corruption event storyline. That was pretty interesting. I do kind of like the corruption event storyline. It sounds nice. Sounds like a fun thing to do. The new mechanic is called the threat, and it brings in malignant monsters. The malignant monsters can be killed, and then you can do a capture heart ritual, which will then summon a very powerful elite, which you kill, which can drop captured malignant hearts. The captured malignant hearts are basically socketable gems, which can go into your equipment and have to be put into a specific socket, which is colored. You can see I put dots right there because I don't really like the color thing. And they have to correspond with the color of the socket, which, to be honest with you, just seems arbitrary and doesn't seem very much of a good mechanic. It just seems like a very bad mechanic, in my opinion. I don't see this as being a good mechanic. I see this as being a bad mechanic because it has no actual real purpose within the game as far as I'm concerned. Let me explain what I mean by this. Let's say you spend, I don't know, like 2 weeks trying to hunt down the perfect ring with the perfect modifiers, and you finally find your perfect ring with the perfect modifiers for your character, right? After 2 weeks of farming, and only to find out that it has a green socket, right? And you needed a red socket. Like, that was what you needed. So now you have an item which is literally a perfect item that you now literally can't use because it has the wrong color socket. And they also talked about the unique items having colored sockets as well. So you thought it was difficult to find that 820 unique item, you know, with the special power that you want on it, with a good roll. Oh, you are in for some fun now, because now not only do you have to find the perfect item with 820 item power on that weapon, a good roll on the mechanic, decent rolls on the actual effects of the item, but now, even if you do happen to find that perfect item, even if you do happen to find the exact thing that you're looking for, and it rolls with the wrong color socket, oh man, that's just too bad. You wanted a blue socket, but you got a red socket. Oh, man. Perfect 820 with perfect rolls and perfect equipment, but now it's got the wrong color socket. It's literally, that's what it's going to be like, and I'm not even joking. You are literally going to find an item. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to have all the mods on that you want. It's going to be the right item power. It's going to be the right modifiers. They're going to be the right rolls for those modifiers. And it's going to have the wrong color socket, and you're going to be screwed. So, stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I kind of like this, but I don't like this. I think this is a bad idea, and I don't think they should do it. They probably will give this the ability to re-roll the socket into a different color, but that's probably going to cost a lot of money. I think I've seen that in some other games, and it's like ridiculous, especially when you have multiple sockets. So if you're dealing with like a two-socketed weapon, or like a two-socketed pants, or the two-socketed armor, like, it's going to be really difficult to get two sockets that are the right colors that you want. So next with the invokers, I actually kind of like this invoker thing. It's kind of nice. A tunnel, basically a dungeon, so like new dungeons that you can go into, and these dungeons have basically what, like, you know, their own specific little malignant things that you can do. It's kind of interesting. Like, I like this. I like this. This is interesting. I don't necessarily like this, but at least they give you the ability to choose the color that you want to invoke, which gives you some interesting stuff. They have said that they're going to come out with some new legendary items and new uniques. They didn't give us any idea what those uniques were, and they didn't give us any idea what the new legendary powers were. Although we did get a small peek at some of the legendary powers back here.
Until after you finish.
Let me see if I can find this real quick. I think it was right here where they gave us a peek at the legendary powers. Yeah, this is it. So they kind of like highlight some of the legendary powers here. Where is it? Trying to find the exact frame where they actually look at the legendary powers. They hold their mouse over one or two of the legendary affixes that seem to be new legendary affixes. And I'm assuming that we're going to see a bunch of them. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. So this is where they start hovering over the things. And they hover over one of the new legendary affixes as well. So this one is charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 50% of nominal damage or normal damage. I think he went over another one. Yeah, poison creepers active also casts landslide in a circle around you. Earth skills deal 10% increased damage to poisoned enemies. That one seems pretty powerful. I don't know if they went over any more after that. No, they didn't. They didn't show us any more of them. But these are ones that are specific, I think, for the chapter rewards. As you can see, we got 4 offensive and 1 defensive legendary aspect there. The new uniques, I can pretty much already tell you what one of the new uniques is. I don't even need to I don't even need to know the answer. Nobody needs to tell me. I guarantee you the Soj is coming. So we are most likely going to see a Soj in season 1. If you guys have never had a Soj before, they're amazing rings, +1 to all skills, usually resource cost stuff on them. I definitely they withheld it from the launch of the game because that's literally why they withheld it from the launch of the game, because they want to have like it in the first season. It's going to be one of the hype items. It'll probably be uber rare too, and it'll probably be ridiculously hard to get your hands on. They did go over the fact that you have to skip the campaign to access the new seasonal journey. So this whole corruption event storyline is not going to be active unless you skip the campaign. So if you do not skip the campaign, you are not going to get access to any of that stuff. They did start to cover some of the seasonal stuff, so they basically said that the Fog of War is going to carry over. The Lilith statues are going to carry over. The renown from the Fog of War and the renown from the Lilith areas are going to carry over. Basically, you're going to have to log into your character to sync up your progress, which was interesting. They also said there's going to be some new scrolls of amnesia to respec your character. So we're going to find these scrolls of amnesia, which will allow us to respec the entire character for free. Not exactly sure how common they're going to be, but could be interesting. They did give us a look at the seasonal panel, which can't remember where the seasonal panel is. There it is, right there. They gave us a look at the seasonal panel. So this is the season of the Malignant. So we've got our chapter journey, the season blessings. We got our purchase, the premium battle pass. There's going to be free cosmetics in here, obviously, as well as other free stuff. And then you can purchase the pass to get the cosmetics. I mean, they must have said battle pass about 10,000 times while they were talking about the battle pass. Don't forget about the battle pass, the shop in the battle pass, the battle pass, battle pass, battle pass. I'm not even joking. They did give us a peek at the seasonal blessings, so that was something that was really important, so we need to take a look at those. And the seasonal blessings were actually kind of interesting. I'm actually kind of excited that we actually got a look at the seasonal blessings. Where was that in here? There it is. So these are the seasonal blessings, and basically we have 5 different blessings that you can choose from to spend your smoldering ashes on, which is something that you earn while you're doing your season. It's basically how this works. So you can spend your smoldering ashes on rewards, and there are things like bonus EXP, the amount of gold that you earn from vendor sales, which is interesting, boost the chance of rare materials from salvage, boost the elixir duration, which honestly sounds pretty epic because some of the elixirs are really powerful. So being able to boost the elixir duration sounds like it's going to be a pretty big one. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this one, especially because you can get things like the resource reduction cost ones, the maximum resource increase of like 50, 15% crit chance. There's all sorts of various useful things that I think this one is going to be great for. I can see a lot of people putting points into the Urn of Prolonging. Obviously, a lot of people are going to put points into the Urn of Aggression just to level up quickly. So I think Urn of Prolonging and Urn of Progression are going to be two really popular ones there. And then the last one is the Urn of Malignance, which is the boost the chance to of powerful malignant heart drops, hearts after completing the campaign. So this is the socketable items. I'm not really 100% sure about this one, but I feel like the Urn of Aggression is going to be one of the biggest ones right there, obviously, because everybody wants the EXP bonus. The Urn of Prolonging is going to be really important because the rarer elixirs, the really powerful rare elixirs, are hard to come by. You can usually only get like 4 or 5 of the dang things, and you burn them up pretty quickly. And having them last for 60% longer is going to make them a lot more useful, obviously, because you can get 15% crit for, instead of 30 minutes, it's going to be closer to an hour, which is pretty nice. Honestly, there's a lot of really good, like really rare elixirs that are hard to come by. The cheapy ones, I mean, you can craft like 100 of those, so who cares? You can just keep popping those. But like, I know for a fact myself, I only have like maybe 3 or 4 of those resource ones, and I use them on a regular basis. So not like, not as big of a deal. Man, there's a tier 11 hype train going on Barricade Stream right now. Tier 11. There, I threw a $10 up on the hype train. You get special emotes for joining the hype train, by the way. There's like really cool emotes that you can get on Twitch that you can only get when you join a hype train. And to get the emotes, you have to like do some kind of donation or a bits or something. You got to do something to enter the hype train. And then once you're in the hype train, you get all the rewards from the hype train. It's pretty cool. So I threw in something in there just so I could get the hype train rewards. These seasonal rewards, I'm a little bit worried about these little seasonal rewards because they talked about it and they were talking about how the seasonal rewards would unlock at specific levels. So here's some of the thing I was looking at. So they put a level requirement on this, which is the dust, by the way. So this is the dust that you need to actually activate those buffs that we were just looking at. But they talked about accelerating the battle pass, and by accelerating the battle pass, you could obtain all the rewards from the battle pass. Of course, except for the free rewards. However, they also basically stated that the dust specifically would be unlocked when you do a seasonal upgrade. So if I do this, the battle pass acceleration, the dust would be unlocked, but it would still have a level requirement. Which basically means that yes, it is unlocking the dust, and you don't actually have to put in the effort to get the dust. However, there is a level requirement to actually obtain the dust. So it's kind of strange because they are both making it so that you can get it with the acceleration and then at the same time locking it behind progression, which is a little worrying to me because it basically sounds like to me that if somebody wants to rush as fast as they possibly can and not do their seasonal journey and not unlock their battle pass, they can pay for the acceleration and still get access to the dust, which gives them a serious advantage over other players. I don't necessarily like this because this right here, which is the EXP earned, which obviously gets you to a higher level quicker, is going to be an advantage against other players who don't have access to it. Thank you, Agreed. I appreciate $5 donation, man. And the problem with this is that if somebody can just simply ignore the season journey entirely and pay for the accelerated battle pass and then get access to the dust, they're at sort of an advantage over other players that are basically forced to do the season journey to get access to the same smoldering ashes. And I don't necessarily like the fact that they can unlock it without actually doing the season journey. Also, can we talk? I mean, I didn't really care about any of the Diablo Immortal stuff. I really didn't. Like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I felt like I was a kid that was being forced to sit through a lecture that he didn't want to like do. But can we just talk for just a brief second about this silly character, like, that they added with the Diablo Immortal thing? Like, is this not like the most extreme example of like copyright infringement that I've ever seen? Like, I swear it's like literally just Belmont. It's like they literally took the Belmont character from the game and they were just like, let's just make a Belmont knockoff. And then he cracked me up because like they literally made this character that's straight up like a Belmont knockoff. And then he was like, we wanted to try something new and original. And I was like, new and original? So Castlevania just doesn't exist then. So it just doesn't exist at all. There's no Castlevania. Castlevania is just not even there. It's not new and original. Okay, it is not new and original. All right. I don't know what crack pipe he's smoking. What else can we go over? Did they post the patch notes yet? That's what I'm more interested in than anything, is I want to know if they posted the patch notes yet. I'm refreshing the patch notes page repeatedly to see if they've posted the patch notes. Let me go back to the Diablo 4 real quick and see if they've got any patch notes up. So we do have something up. Let's take a look at this, shall we? So we've got the Season of the Malignant theme, transmute malignants into vengeance, how seasonal characters work, earn rewards with the season journey and the battle pass, acquire hellish new looks from the shop, catch up with the Developer Update Livestream, Diablo 4 patch notes. Full inventory of patch notes. So they don't have that posted yet, which is fine. Let's go over this stuff and let's see what they've got in here. Maybe they've got some more detailed information on some of this than we otherwise would normally get. Let me queue up a recording of this so I can post this later. Alright, I'm gonna play my intro. Hello guys and gals and welcome. So we finally got some information on Season 1 coming up, and it looks like the theme of the season is going to be Malignance. They did just post a news article, and we also just had the live stream dev update, so we have some more information coming from that. And let's go over the article. Supposedly we're supposed to be getting patch notes later today for 1.04, which they do have linked in the article, but there's nothing currently there, so maybe it'll be there by the time we finish. So corruption has befallen Sanctuary in the Season of Malignant and the first season of Diablo 4 on July 20th, 10 a.m. PDT. A new season journey, questline boss, dungeons, battle pass, and more will go live. We'll give you a preview below on July 18th. So the patch will actually go live on the 18th, but ladder doesn't start until the 20th. We'll release another article shedding even more light on what's coming with the new season, including 6 new unique items. 6 new unique items. That's good information. And 7 new legendary aspects. 6 new uniques. You know what I think that probably is? I can probably already tell you. 1 uber rare, right? I know I'm counting with my thumb. 1 uber rare, which is most likely the Soj. We from Diablo 2, and it's probably going to be amazing. Then there's going to be 1 for each class, right? So 1 rogue, 1 necromancer, 1 barbarian, 1 sorceress, 1 druid. And I don't got enough fingers. 1 druid. Using my other thumb. There you go. So we're probably going to get 1 all-encompassing unique, which is going to be like an uber rare unique, most likely the Soj, and then 1 for each character. There's probably going to be one for each character. All right, let's go. Let's dive into this. A deviant form of Lilith's sinister machinations has given birth to a new threat, malignant monsters. These decaying abominations roam Sanctuary in a frenzy, mindlessly attacking anyone in range without hesitation. Wanderers will investigate this mysterious malady in a new questline with the help of Cormond, a former priest of the Cathedral of Light, who also trains you to capture the malignant hearts. Fueling these foul beasts and convert them into build-altering powers, the malignancy that's taken a hold of the Burning Hells armies cannot remain unchecked. You must snuff it out at the source before all Sanctuary becomes its thrall. And then we got the season trailer, which was kind of neat. Transmute malignants into vengeance. To keep up with the relentless animosity of malignant monsters, you'll need to turn their hearts against them. Slaying partly corrupted enemies, a type of malignant monster, will drop a malignant heart. These can be captured by performing a ritual with the Cage of Binding, an item acquired during the season's questline. Partly corrupted enemies are unruly sort and won't go down easily. Trying to capture the heart will cause the partly corrupted enemy to be reborn as a fully corrupted enemy. If defeated, these amalgamations of rot will drop a version of the malignant heart that can be placed into a special infested sockets in your jewelry in a place of a normal gem. Our first season will introduce 32 malignant hearts across 4 categories that provide new unique bonuses. As you encounter more menacing malignant creatures, so too will the strength of their malignant hearts grow. There's much more to share on the season's theme, and we cannot wait to do so in the future. One of the best places to acquire malignant hearts is in the new malignant tunnels, which is basically new dungeons. Highly replayable dungeons teeming with fearsome foes to eradicate. Scour this dank system of tunnels for catalysts of malignant monsters. Go toe-to-toe against Varshan the Consumed, the newest boss battle, if you dare. How seasonal characters work. With the season, the Malignant beginning July 20th, we wanted to take a moment to equip you with everything you need to know about seasons. To participate in seasons, a new character must be made on the seasonal realm. You do not need to purchase a battle pass or any add-ons to play the seasonal content, but you must have completed the campaign on either the Eternal Realm or the Seasonal Realm with at least 1 character. Once you have completed the campaign, any seasonal character will start the game with the option to skip the campaign, your mount available immediately, all previously discovered altars of Lilith unlocked and the corresponding renown for them, all previously discovered areas of the map revealed and the corresponding renown for them. Once the season has ended, the character you made and its progress will be transferred to the Eternal Realm. All items you collected, including your seasonal stash, will be transferred too. You can take this character into Sanctuary whenever you please, but season-specific features, such as the Malignant Hearts, will no longer be accessible. Now, this is a little strange to me. Like, I'm not used to seasonal buffs not following you into the Eternal Realm. Like, I thought the entire purpose of seasons was literally so that the buffs and things that you obtained during the seasons would then transfer over to the non-seasonal realm, and then you could just play around with those buffs basically at your own leisure, like testing things out and whatnot. It does seem a little odd that they're introducing things that are only going to be in seasons and will not transfer over to non-season later on. So the Eternal Realm is not going to get Malignant Hearts no matter how long they wait, unless they deem it as something that they want to add into the regular game. They basically said that the like they may introduce some of these seasonal things into the full version of the game, the Eternal Realm, if they deem it, like possible or something. I don't know. It's weird. Our belief behind seasons. Seasons provide us with an opportunity to introduce innovative gameplay mechanics into Sanctuary for a limited time. Because season reset, we can create crazy fun season themes in a vacuum without needing to worry about the balance in the mechanics introduced in the past or future seasons. We start from a strong Eternal Realm baseline and build on top of it. Seasons are also a place for players to explore and tinker. We encourage you to try a new class or different builds for a class you've grown fond of. Our seasons are a chance to get creative while demolishing demons. Additionally, seasons present an equal playing field. Our seasons are designed for new characters to conquer the nightmarish challenges brought on by a season's theme and to progress through seasonal journey together. Earn rewards with the season journey and the battle pass. So this is the season journey window, which looks very similar to Diablo 3's season journey window, by the way. As you hunt down malignant monsters for their build-enhancing hearts, partner with Cormon to discover the source of the corruption. You'll earn rewards from the season journey and the battle pass. The season journey is broken into chapters with tasks to complete, and as you progress through the journey, you'll earn rewards befitting Sanctuary's Defender, such as new legendary aspects, a mastery title, and a Scroll of Amnesia, which provides a free skill and Paragon board reset. The journey also provides Favor, the resource used to climb through the Battle Pass tiers, which is also earned naturally by playing the game, whether it be killing monsters, completing quests, and more. I'm really interested in the legendary aspects. I'm curious as to what those are going to be. That should be interesting. I don't really too much care about the Scroll of Amnesia, but it'll be nice to have one, I guess. The season of Malignant Battle Pass begins on July 20th, same time as the Season 1, and hosts 90 tiers, 27 free tiers, and 63 premium tiers. Smoldering Ashes are earned from the free tiers, which can be spent on seasonal blessings that provide you with a bonus to earn experience, gold, opals, and the below whatever blessing you choose. We went over the blessings earlier, but they basically have things like increased elixir duration, experience points, extra gold from selling items to the vendors. There's also one that gives you extra malignant heart drops, which is interesting, or more powerful malignant heart drops. If you get the premium battle pass, not only the rewards from the free tiers will be yours to wield as you choose, but awoken armor sets, mount and mount armor, and platinum and more await you. If you purchase the digital, deluxe, or ultimate edition of Diablo 4 and want to redeem your battle pass for this season, navigate to the season section of the shop and select the option to activate your battle pass. So if you guys are unaware, if you purchased the digital deluxe or the ultimate edition, it came with a free battle pass. So you don't have to purchase that battle pass. So once you purchase the original version of the game, like you're already done. Like you have the battle pass for the first season. It came with it. You just have to go activate it, is basically what they're saying. So you're going to have to go activate the battle pass that you purchased. That came with, of course, the game, which I think a lot of people kind of forgot about because the battle pass didn't launch with the game. It's launching with the season 1, so we haven't actually seen the battle pass, nor do we know anything about it until season 1 starts. So it was kind of weird because I kind of had the same thing going on. I was like, didn't the deluxe edition come with a battle pass? Like, where's my battle? Like, yeah, that's why you have no clue what the hell's going on with the battle pass that you got from the deluxe and the ultimate editions, because it doesn't actually start yet. It doesn't exist until July 20th. Players also have the option to skip tiers by spending platinum at the cost of 200 platinum per tier skip. Keep in mind that your tier skips might unlock tier that rewards smoldering ashes, but you must meet the minimum requirements. So this is one of the things that I'm worried about right here. So they're basically letting people tier skip to the smoldering ashes, and the smoldering ashes are actually buffs that can make your character stronger. Obviously, experience points gain is a huge thing. It's going to make your character level up quicker. The elixir thing is actually pretty nice too, because it allows you to use those really rare elixirs, the ones that are like, you only find like 2 or 3 of them. You can get those and you can use those for longer. I don't really necessarily like this. I don't like that you can tier skip to the smoldering ashes. The smoldering ashes should be free only. I don't know why they decided to do that. I think it's stupid. They do have a level requirement on them, though, which does require you to actually hit the minimum level to get that reward, which I guess is better than nothing. So the player can't just unlock the Smoldering Ashes and then use them at level 1. They actually have to level up to the level requirement of the Smoldering Ashes before they can use them, which might work out the same to a player who's actually actively working and leveling up their character. I don't know. Acquire hellish new looks from the shop. We're dialing up the heat in the shop with new equipment, armor and accessories, mountain armor bundles. Honestly, they need to add some Diablo 2 stuff. I would probably actually spend some money in there if they had some Diablo 2 cosmetics. Starting on July 20th, you'll want to pay Tijal a visit and browse her wares. Remember to check back often. She'll update her stock throughout the season. One rarefied find from the far reaches of Sanctuary is the Mother's Protection Collection. This is this one right here. I think we've actually seen a screenshot of this one before. Kind of reminded me a hell of a lot of, what do you call it? Lord of the Rings Online. Like, kind of looks like Sauron's armor from, like, friggin' Lord of the Rings. And then, of course, they got the live stream, which we just did. They got a live stream recap. And then there's the patch notes. So the patch notes are not currently live, and I will be reloading this page like multiple times until eventually they do go live. But there's nothing I could do about it. I will probably be covering the patch notes as soon as they go live as well. So be sure to tune in for that. The patch notes are always fun to go over. Obviously 1.03 was a pretty big patch. But they said 1.04 is actually going to be a pretty big patch too. It's not going to be as chunky as 1.03, but it apparently does have some pretty important changes in it. So tune in for that later. This is the live stream right here, by the way, and we were going over a lot of this stuff. They did give us a peek at the... This is one of the Malignant Hearts right here. It says critical strikes electrically charge the enemy for 2.89 seconds, causing lightning to arc between them and any other charged enemies, dealing 64 lightning damage. I wouldn't pay attention to that 64 lightning damage because look at the level requirement. It's level 20. So this is scaled to a level 20 character. If you guys are unaware of this, characters actually have an item power attached to their level, which is very specific. And I've been trying to actually figure this out, exactly how much item power each character has at a specific level. But when it comes to flat damage numbers scale very badly with levels. So the lower level you are, the worse they are. And you got to level up your character before those damage numbers go up. And since they have everything tied to your character level, when you find a Malignant Heart at a lower level, it's going to be basically garbage at that point. Also notice up here it says a heart can be placed into a piece of gear with a heart already socketed into it. This will destroy the original heart. It's kind of interesting. I think they showed us a couple of the hearts. I can't remember if they showed us more than one. Nah, I don't think they did show us more than one. They just showed us that one. So there's 32 different ones that are going to be coming, and that's just one of the 32. So we got 31 more Malignant Hearts to unlock. Yes, they went over all of the transmog stuff, and they basically said that all the transmog will carry over between all the characters. Season 1, Eternal Realm, anything you have unlocked right now will join you in the Season 1, all sorts of stuff. So that's the Caged Heart right there. And basically what happens is you click on the Caged Heart. Once you click on the Caged Heart, it spawns a bunch of monsters around you. And you got to fight the enhanced monsters. Eventually you end up with your little power here. I mean, it's kind of interesting because it gives us more things to do with the sockets than just simply what we had before, which wasn't really like the current socket usage isn't the most amazing. There also seems to be a resource associated with these hearts. As you can see there, see it says +1 vicious malignant ichor. I'm pretty sure that has to do with crafting. So specifically, if we're trying to craft like something to do with these hearts, it looks like you can find this malignant ichor as you are going around the world. It will drop from various monsters. And it seems to be related to the color as well. So like specific pieces are different colors than others. I really was hoping they'd put these patch notes up sooner, but I guess they're kind of separating it out a little bit. There's more in here. There's always more. Oh yeah, this right here. So this was kind of interesting. So they basically said the sockets are going to have colors, right? And then there's going to be specific powers attached to specific colors. So you're going to be looking for, like, for instance, a blue heart or a white heart or a red heart, etc. Well, there's going to be these dungeons, apparently, where you're going to have these spaghetti and meatball looking things, and there's going to be two options. There's going to be a blue one, and there's going to be a white one, or there'll be a red one and a white one, or whatever. And basically, you're going to go up and you're going to choose which one that you're going to kick, right? So you're going to kick the color that you want the monster to be so that you can try and get the drop that you actually want. So in this particular case, he kicked the kind of like bluish purple one, which turns the malignant growth into a blue purple monster. And then when you kill him, he will drop that particular color doojank. Which it's kind of interesting because at least then you'll be able to get a better drop rate on the ones that you're trying to obtain, which isn't terrible. So in this particular case, he's trying to specifically obtain the blue purple one, which I don't know what they're all called. The red one seems to be called Vicious. That's the red one. And then here you have see collected malignant heart available after completing or skipping the campaign. I mean, these are the aspects right here. So we already know that 4 of the aspects that we're going to get access to are going to be offensive. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are offensive aspects, and they did give us a peek at some of the aspects. It was in here. They basically just kind of held the mouse over the aspects, and they showed us 2 of them. So we got to see this one, which is charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 50% of nominal damage. So that's a barbarian one. And then there was one in here which was druid. That's a druid one. Poison creeper active. Poison creepers active also cast landslide in a circle around you. Earth skills deal 10% increased damage to poisoned enemies. That's a really interesting one. Poison creepers is really powerful. If you haven't given poison creeper a chance on the druid, I definitely recommend giving that one a shot because it's a really powerful ability. We didn't get to see the other 3 down here, unfortunately, but I would assume that there's one for every class. So probably Barbarian has 1 Rogue, Necromancer, Sorceress, Rogue, etc. And basically there's probably also 1 or 2 that are like more account-wide. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna obviously be looking for these patch notes. It'd be nice to find these patch notes. But that's pretty much everything that they showed us for the most part. There was a lot of stuff in here about Diablo Immortal, and nobody cares about that. They did briefly cover inventory tension, which, I mean, that's nice. They didn't really say what they were going to do. They were like, we hear you, like, we're sorry, we can't do anything right now, but we're definitely looking into it, and we're going to do what we can. I would definitely like to see some changes to the inventory tension. The inventory tension is terrible in the game, but that is the official launch date for Season 4, or Season 1, sorry, Season 1 of Diablo 4. I was thinking Diablo 4 when I said that. And we're gonna get a sneak peek at it on the 18th, so we'll get to play around with some of the stuff apparently beforehand, but obviously not the Malignant part of it, because the Malignant part of it apparently is not carrying over to Eternal Realm, which is a little strange. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and we'll pick this back up later when the patch notes come out. I'm gonna take a quick break myself because Mr. Kubus the Monster Dog's got to take a pippadoodles, and I got to take a pippadoodles. I'll see you guys when the patch notes launch.